Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it might be kind of fun to talk to you guys about my first real fragrance purchase. And I kind of discussed this before in a bunch of different videos. If you guys don't know, it's Light Blue from Dolce and Gabbana. But I kind of wanted to tell you why this was like a gateway fragrance for me into this whole fragrance world. So I'm going to do a little mini review on this. I'm going to be doing a full review on this because like I said, I want to review every fragrance in my collection. But I'm going to tell you why I decided getting it and why it was a gateway fragrance for me. Because it's not just like it was a purchase, it was a gateway into all of this. And I'm going like this because all of my fragrances are boxed up and ready to be put away safely away from Irma. So yeah, let's get into the video. I'm going to start off by saying that this is obviously not the bottle that I purchased. I have gone through probably over a dozen of these, and I have a little one because I have so many fragrances now. I don't wear through a lot of them enough, so some of them I have smaller bottles of, and this is one of them because it's really easily available, so I just wear the tiny one of that. But I'm going to link the video below where I'm talking about my story time, my first job, which was working behind a fragrance counter, sort of. Kind of go into all of that in that video if you're interested. But with my very first paycheck, I wanted to buy a bottle of perfume. And I spent a good long while deciding it. I was kind of... The three that I was deciding between was Green Irish Tweed, because that's just magnificent. Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue, and YSL Baby Doll. And for me, my first bottle, my first paycheck, I really loved Green Irish Tweed, but it was a little bit too much money for my first paycheck. So that one was out of the picture for that time. And I still haven't bought a bottle of it, if you can believe. I feel like that's kind of like in my head, like too expensive, even though it really isn't. But when I was deciding between a fragrance, I decided Light Blue because there was just something about the way it smelled on my skin that just really I keep saying made my heart sing because that's ultimately what it did. So I got Light Blue. I got the biggest bottle, obviously not this size. I'm gonna keep smelling this just because it makes me so happy. And I wore it and I loved it. Now during high school it was kind of a hard time for me. I had a nervous breakdown, like a legitimate one. And I was finding my place in this world. I was trying to figure out who I was, where I fit in, what I wanted to do with my life. It was really, really tough, and it's tough for most people, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my high school experience was worse than most or others. I think it was average. I just didn't take it as well as others, but it was average. One of the things that made me happy was smells. With scent memories, associating smells with things was something that always calmed me down and comforted me. And I had a lot of turmoil in high school. I had a lot of great times too. I made some of my best friends. It's where I met my husband. I mean, I'm not knocking high school. There were just some people in there that weren't the nicest, and I definitely, at times, wasn't the nicest either. But you're a kid, you're finding your place, it's really tough. So there was a few friends that I associated with different fragrances. Obviously one of my best friends, she wore Cotton Candy, I wore Gummy Bear, I wore a lot of Lolita Lampica, Elizabeth Arden Green Tea, Clinique Happy, but there was something about Light Blue. The reason why this fragrance was so important to me is because before I got my job, I was just kind of living on an allowance, I felt like I was living off of other people, and when I got a job, I felt like I was more independent, and I'm a very independent person. So for me, it was just kind of like the first step in my independence and who I was going to be. And I started to really take my hobbies seriously, really take my passions and my skills seriously. And one of my passions was always like these scents and being reminded of scents and smells. Something I used to do, and I still do, it's silly, is there's something about the fake food for kids in their toy kitchens. There's something about that smell that just drives me. It makes me so happy. It reminds me of my little toy kitchen, playing with my baby sister and my dad and my mom playing with me, I could break into tears thinking about how happy that smell makes me. And every single time I go into like any type of toy store, my husband immediately knows I make a beeline for that area, and I'm just like looking around looking for the little baskets with like the fake boxes of cereal and the fake cans of food. I smell them, and I'm so weird, you guys. I'm so weird. But there is something about that smell that just triggers something so happy and so comforting and just so amazing in my mind. It just brings me so much endless joy. If somebody could turn that into a fragrance, I would wear it, and I would cry every day wearing it, tears of happiness and contentment. But with Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, every time I wore this fragrance, this just reminded me of like my independence. It reminded me of my first job, the good and the bad. And you guys know there's a lot of issues with that first job, especially with that woman. If you're interested in the story, watch the video. You don't have to. There was just an employee there that was kind of mean. But I also remember that I was 16 at the time, so I might not have been the best employee ever. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But what I do know is as I started working more and saving money and making purchases with my own money, it gave me so much more confidence. Like, it really did. Even though my mom was driving me to work every day, even though she was washing my clothes, I was in the IB program, so I was working really hard on that. There was something so rewarding about working and, you know, making my money and just being independent and being my own person. For the first time, I was building relationships with customers, and they were respecting me for the job I was doing. Because when you're working at a store, whether it's somebody who's worked there for 10 years or someone who's just started there 2 or 3 weeks and it's their first job, when a customer comes in, you're pretty much all equal right away. And the fact that a lot of these relationships I built with some of my coworkers, a lot of these relationships I built with regular customers, and a lot of respect they gave me were things that I built on my own in an environment that was completely different to me. And I associated all of that with light blue because that's the fragrance I would wear. And a lot of times that's the fragrance they would spritz on me because I was the stick. I was the tester stick. So when I think of light blue and I think of this smell, this really started my passion for fragrances because I got really excited owning it and wearing it, and then when I run out, I'd buy another bottle, and that whole experience was just like endorphins, where it's really, really high. But at the same time, there was also something that just, it reminds me of my independence and my just becoming from like a whiny parasitic teenager to being a woman, to being a human being, to being somebody who was allowed to have an opinion, someone who was treated with respect based on the hard work that I did when I worked and my opinions and my work ethic and all that stuff. There was something about that entire experience that really shaped me into the person I am today. And I always associated that with smells, and I always associated the beginning of that with that job. And my job there was specifically fragrances. So fragrances have always held a special heart. That is Pancakes. He holds my heart too. Why are you so slow? You usually bounce down that so fast. So yeah. So that's kind of why Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue is like the gateway fragrance for me. It was my first fragrance purchase. It gave me a lot of confidence because I know I smelled good. And at the same time, it really helped me build who I am today based on the independence I gained and the experience I got, and also being able to be, to experience like hundreds of amazing bottles of perfume, the niche designer, a lot of things that normally a high school kid wouldn't be to, they wouldn't get to experience. So I do owe a lot to Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, specifically when it comes to my fragrance collection, because to me it's kind of more nostalgic and symbolic. And it's not that if I had bought the other bottles of perfume, maybe I'd be talking about another one, but because it was specifically Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue and it was one that smelled the nicest on me, I did get a lot of compliments on it that built my confidence too. It is something that is very special to me. So yeah. that is my little story time on Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue. And little review wide. It's a very common, a very well-known, beautiful citrus fragrance that literally will stay on your skin forever. I get like 6 to 8 hours of wear, and this is so loud and projects and leaves a beautiful trail. I love coming across this in the wild. Like, it's like that. Like, is there a fragrance or an experience or something that triggered this fragrance obsession for you? Because like I said, I always associated things with smells, and so for me, when I smell something new, when I smell something exciting, because I collect art, I collect a lot of random things. For me, when I collect fragrances, I'm collecting an art piece, I'm collecting a memory and an experience and a feeling, and also I'm smelling pretty good at the same time. So I was wondering if you guys had anything like that. I'd love to know what you guys think. Am I kind of silly for smelling plastic food? Or do you guys get triggered in the same way with scent memories? I'd love to know what you guys think. So anyway, in any case, I'm going to end this video here. I'd like to know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, guys, if you like these videos, these fragrance videos, remember to give this video a thumbs up. Lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it's free and I'm free. I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekend as well. So always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy. Have a great day, month, year, whatever. I'll see you next time. Bye.